They called themselves the Crypt Cleaners, 3 thieves and a priest who specialised in robbing graves. The founders of the gang, Lismond and Ernon, had met each other at a cheap tavern of dubious reputation. After a few too many rounds of strong ale, the two had decided to put their particular talents to good use. Ernon was a priest of questionable standing, whose holy magic was ideal for the job, especially in times like these, when the dead seldom chose to remain peaceful in their graves. The other, Lismond, was a charismatic jack-of-all-trades, with a background in thievery and banditry, a man whose pragmatic, straightforward way of thinking made sure things always got done. That night at the tavern, Lismond had managed to convince the priest of the great advantages of grave robbing. As such a robber, one was not stealing from the innocent, nor the poor, but from the dead, who were not in any real need of their wealth, and more importantly, were not, at least in most cases, in the habit of fighting back. Pepper, the third member of the team, had joined them after their first few successful ventures. He was a shiny-headed bald thief, with no particular talent except for being able to speak continuously for hours on end. The extra pair of hands he provided, however, were, for those without a better option, a good enough reason to keep him around. The last to have joined them had been John Retchins, a man with a temperamental stomach but a good loyal heart. A heart that, unfortunately, beats no more. As it comes, at the start of this story, the 3 surviving members of the Crypt Cleaners were trapped in a dark and dank room, deep inside an ancient tomb. They had, moments before, found themselves overwhelmed by a pack of undead, and had been forced to flee. All they had been able to do was barricade themselves in the first room they had stumbled into, only to realise a couple of seconds later that they had left their good old friend John Retchins trapped outside. Unfortunately, they had been unable to muster the courage to open the door, so had been forced to listen to the horrible screams of the poor thief as he was dragged down and devoured alive by the mobile deceased. "Ernon, my friend, are you okay?" asked Lismond as he kindly patted the priest's back. The old man had just thrown up all of his supper.
"Tasty! Old Retchins would have been proud of you, Ernon. That's a mighty chunky chunder if ever I saw one. Come to think of it, I couldn't think of a better way to honour him if I'm honest. It's just a shame we're stuck in this room, the undead at the door, being chased by an ever-expanding waft of priestly chunder gas,"
expressed Pepper with a spark of laughter in his eyes.
"It's a crying shame. I'll miss that lad," said Lismond with a sad smile. "Ernon, could you cast your light again, my good man? We're blind as bats in here."
The priest, clearly still not recovered, cleared his throat and with a gesture made the end of his sceptre glow.
"Here, just take it."
The sceptre, traditionally referred to as a sun rod, consisted of a short ivory handle capped with an ornate golden sun, which now glowed with a warm bright light. The thief picked it up carefully and began to search the room for points of interest. The walls were thick with grime and old cobwebs, and a dank musty smell hung in the air. Almost immediately, a stone sarcophagus in the middle of the room caught his attention. It looked particularly ornamented and seemed to have what appeared to be a glyph and a phrase etched into its surface.
"Ernon, get yourself together. I think we've hit the jackpot,"
exclaimed Lismond, checking the markings more closely.
"Wow, colour my scalp lonely. That's a pretty fancy sarcophagus. I'd wager that thing is filled with treasure,"
jumped in Pepper excitedly as he approached it.
"Yeah, you might be right, but we should be careful. These things have a habit of being cursed."
"Come on, Ern. This is no time for mourning. We are in need of your educated observations,"
pushed the bold man.
"Oh, patience,"
said the priest as he helped himself up and moved towards the sarcophagus with some difficulty.
"I'm coming."
Snatching his holy sceptre from Lismond's hand in not the friendliest manner, Ernon started reading aloud.
"Here lies Gorith the Wise, a powerful wizard for whom death is but deep slumber. he shall be bound to help those which make a payment in blood.
An expression of fear slowly appeared on the holy man's face.
I do not like this. Every fibre of my being says not to open it,
exclaimed Ernon.
So, we have an old forgotten wizard peacefully sleeping here. He's probably bedfellow with a fortune in magical artifacts. I wonder if we can get this thing open without waking the old timer up,
wondered Pepper, paying no heed to the priest's concerns.
As I expected. It's well sealed,
added Lismond as he cast a closer eye over the sarcophagus.
Haven't you fools heard me? We shouldn't open it. And yes, it's most certainly enchanted, and as it says, it will only open with blood.
Blood? Can't you dispel the enchantment?
The enchantment is likely too powerful. I wouldn't risk it. Things like this are beyond my skills. And again, I really don't think we should even consider awaking.
Something slammed into the door. It seemed the undead had finished devouring their friend and were now trying to get to them.
Oh, darn it. I was hoping those rotten meatbags would forget about us,
sighed the leader of the gang.
Good thing that John was a fat fellow. At least he kept the diners distracted for a while,
commented Pepper.
This is not good, Lismond. I can't see a way we can make it out of here alive. I don't have enough sunlight left in me, and there are too many of those things outside. And I don't think that door will last for much longer.
Desperation was starting to invade the priest.
I would not worry, my good friends. It's not the first time we've battled our way out of an ugly situation like this. Remember that time when we...
What on earth are you babbling about, you fool? We have never been in a situation like this, and I fear we have but a few more moments left to live.
Pepper smiled nervously.
Come on, there's got to be something we can do. There's this...
Wait, lads. I've got it,
interrupted Lismond.
There is something. We could wake the wizard. He'll have to help us.
Have you lost the use of your faculties? He's probably a blue blood, or worse,
cried out the priest.
You did say, Ernon, that he was bound to help whoever gave him a little blood,
added Pepper, smiling.
He will surely.
A little blood? The markings said a payment in blood, not a little blood. You know how these things work. They like to make the volume of blood ambiguous. It could be anything from a few drops to a full human sacrifice. Besides, there's absolutely no guarantee he'd want to help us afterwards.
The wooden door was starting to give way.
I don't think we have much choice, Ernon,
said Lismond as he unsheathed his dagger and extended his left hand over the casket's glyph. Pausing for a moment, he looked from Ernon to Pepper.
In case this doesn't work, my friends, I want you to know that it's been a pleasure working with you.
Oh, boss, the pleasure has been mine.
Oh, the Holy Sun! I don't like this at all. I knew we shouldn't have tried this crypt. I should have trusted my gut.
Lismond cut the palm of his left hand and with a clenched fist let the blood drip onto the glyph. No sooner had the blood touched the stony surface, the symbol started glowing with a red light. The sarcophagus lid shuddered and slowly started moving to one side as the unceasing strikes of the undead punched their way through the now collapsing door. The light grew in intensity, bathing the entire chamber in an eerie blood-red hue, and... with a loud clatter, the heavy stone lid fell to the ground, and instinctively, the three remaining crypt cleaners took a few steps back.